This week's topic is a difficult one. It's on commitment. So we've done money, service, and now commitment. And when I thought about commitment, I thought about commitment to marriage, commitment to family, and commitment to Jesus. And based on your comments from the Facebook post, it sounds like your mom was the pillar example of commitment to marriage and family. And she was going to do this video with me, but she got sick, and so she's too sick to do it. But I did get her words from her so that I can quote her in this. So starting with marriage is so important. And you guys had a very interesting awakening when you went off to college or went off to the military and found out that it was very weird to have a single family unit where your parents were still together and all your siblings were full siblings, and you were the only one like that among your peer group. All your other friends were from blended families or from single parent homes. And I'm proud of that example because your mother and I have a depth of commitment and love for one another. And I think it started with the fact that we both have Jesus in common. We were very committed to one another. We weren't going to talk about divorce. I think our marriage is strong because of that foundation of dedication to one another and love and a lot of forgiveness. And I think that that's where it all starts. And I want my children and grandchildren all to be married and have that deep partnership that lasts for decades and decades and decades, where you're never having to go through the bad times alone in any kind of way. And then that flows into commitment to family. And you guys certainly have experienced that. You got to experience that when your mom stayed at home and we lived on one income. I remember the family of 6 surviving on $18,000 a year, which is unbelievable. I don't know how we did that, but your mother was the muscle behind that and was able to meet all of our needs on almost no money. And then we were committed to you by taking you back and forth to school, and I was available in the afternoons to be around when you weren't in school. And then your mother taking an opportunity to talk to you after she came home from her shift at midnight and was still awake to be able to interact with you. That's a beautiful expression of commitment. And family needs commitment because, again, commitment is what gets us through the difficult times. That's where the true love and compassion and connection with one another really shines. And so, again, your mother's the perfect example of commitment for family. And I would really hope that you guys would live up to that example of her. And she would have said that so much better, and I didn't do very well, but you'll have a chance to talk to her about it later, I'm sure. The third part is commitment to Jesus. And so far we've talked about money and service and commitment, and to be fair, those are superficial, small things in comparison to Jesus. If I could only pass on one thing through the generations, what I would pass down is the need for salvation in Jesus Christ. I mean, Jesus radically changed my destiny. And I can't even imagine the kind of person I would be, the kind of life I would have lived without Jesus. And so I want my children all to have an intimate, passionate relationship with Jesus. I want my grandchildren to have an intimate, passionate relationship with Jesus, and on and on and on. Because everything changes with Jesus in your life. I wouldn't have married your mother if it wasn't for Jesus. We wouldn't have been in the same circles. It just wouldn't have happened. You would have been born without Jesus. And so of all the things we've talked about, I mean, the two big ones is wanting to pass down my love and relationship with Jesus to the next generations, and to pass down the outflow of that, which is godliness and holiness. And so we've touched on it, but I'm sure in the coming weeks we'll be focusing more and more on godliness and holiness. I just hope that you would learn from our examples about commitment and that you would live them out in your own lives and you would teach them to your children and grandchildren to be committed to Jesus, to be committed to your spouse in the good times and in the bad, and that you'd be committed to your family. Be a family man, be a family woman, pouring your life into the next generation. If you do that, you'll be really fulfilling our greatest hopes and desires. We love you so much, and we are so proud of you. It's just unexpressible, the depth of how much joy you guys bring us. And we look forward to all the great things that are going to be happening in your lives later. Praise the Lord.